Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video on the Mercedes Citan, or Renault Kangoo as quite a lot of you called it. Exactly the same van guys, just rebadged, different bumper, headlights, maybe the bonnet possibly, but they're pretty much exactly just a badged Renault. So on this van, as you know guys, a few little bits and pieces around it. Both wing mirrors are toast. Sorry, I was a bit zoomed in too far there. Both wing mirrors are toast, and we've got that serious gearbox issue. We're just waiting for Silver Lake to arrive. It's first thing in the morning, and they're going to be here any minute with a nice new gearbox for it. So I'm going to get this in the workshop, start the process of getting it up on the ramp. We'll wait for them to arrive. Hopefully we'll have all the bits in today and we can crack on and get this one turned around and out the door. Let's get it inside. So as you could see guys from that delivery there, nice and quick. I only ordered this a couple of days ago and it's straight into us now. So nice new gearbox, warranted, bit of warranty on that. This is out of a 2018 with very low mileage, so this should be a good box to put in it and should give the new owner, you know, it should be trouble free. What I am going to do, I've just lifted it up on the ramp. Well, I've just put the ramp underneath. I'm probably just going to start stripping out, like getting all of the sort of the boring stuff what you guys don't really want to see, like get the wheels off, get the battery removed, get the tray removed, etc, etc. Just get all of those little bits out of the way. I also think we're going to stumble across a little bit of a problem with this van, removing the gearbox, and I will elaborate on that in a moment when Chris comes back in, because he actually read it, and so I wouldn't be able to repeat what the message said, but we'll wait till he gets in. In the meantime, I'm going to carry on and strip off all of these little bits. Sorry guys, Chris just walked in. Quite a lot of comments get held for review, and this one in particular did. And when they are held for review, Chris gets a chance to read them. Chris, what did the message say?
Basically that they fitted a new clutch.
This is a chap that said, I recognise the reg of that van.
Yeah, he's worked on the vehicle.
He's worked on it. He fitted a clutch at 50,000.
20,000 miles ago, I think it said.
Right.
And that when they removed the subframe, one of the bolts spun in the
Chassis.
So they had to remove the rest of it and spin the subframe
Out the way.
Still attached to the vehicle. So it looks like we'll be cutting a bolt off and
welding a new one on. Yeah, like I say guys, bit of trouble there today possibly, but
yeah.
We're not going to know until we get down to it, so let's crack straight on. So guys, pretty much what I was doing there on the time lapse was just getting everything cracked off really. So like the drive shaft nut, steering rack, lower pin for the lower arm, just getting everything loose, the drop link. You need all of that really, like the drive shaft nuts and the wheel nuts, they're all ideal to do on the floor. You don't want to be trying to hold the wheel while you're trying to get them undone. So I've got all of those cracked off on the passenger side. The driver's side, it is going to be subframe out, so we're going to need to remove that lower arm, the drop link from the anti-roll bar, just all bits and pieces like that. But things like the steering rack, hopefully we're going to be able to leave that behind. I'm not quite sure yet what way around we're going to do it, but I've got everything down there loose that we need to get loose. I'm just going to work up here for a little while now, like remove the battery and anything else that's basically on top of that gearbox. There's going to be a mount there that we're going to need to get to anyway, so I'm going to crack on and get all of this lot removed here. I just called Chris in there, guys, and said, what do you reckon, mate? Let's have a little look. We always have a little look before we start the process. Just get a few bits out of the way, guys. And as you can see, the gearbox mount is actually buried down the back there. I've had to remove the ECU. All of the wiring that's clipped to the engine, it all looks very difficult. And then looking how close that engine is to the gearbox, to the rad fan there, is unbelievable. So what I am going to actually do, just to aid it, I'm going to remove the front end. It should make life a lot easier. Underneath it looks like there's a fair bit of room, but I don't know. I'm going to strip a few bits out and see how I get on. But all of this down here looks so tight. I think it'll just make sense when it's only going to take 15 minutes to whip the front end off. You've got all that front access when it comes to putting the gearbox back in, and underneath then as well. And you can clip everything up, send everything home where it needs to be before you start the process of putting it all back together. So I'm going to crack on and see how I'll get on, but I'm thinking that that's probably what we're going to do. So guys, I actually stopped time-lapsing there because the tripod was in my way. But I've got the engine bed now actually out of the way. Over there, you can see it was very straightforward. So there is only 4 main bolts with that and the steering column. But the bolt that was bothering me was the bolt that this chap mentioned actually in the comment section of the last video. So you have got that main one there, which is that big one. And then you've got the main one here, and then there is, sorry, these ones here for the extensions. So this extension part, we have now established that it is actually this bolt here that he's talking about. And they did say that I had to actually swing this right out the way. So it would be quite easy to swing it out the way, but we do want to try and rectify that. So we are going to have to get that bolt out and get this stripped out of the way. And then Chris will probably just weld a new bolt in there so that this doesn't happen again. But we didn't have to take the front end off. I started looking a bit closer, and you had 213s here that literally held all of this system on here, and it's just moved it all out of the way, and now there is plenty of room. And then the engine mount, the gearbox mount, even though there's 3 fixing points on the gearbox, there is only actually 1 on that mount there. So I thought that will be quite straightforward. And of course, now that the bed's removed, the subframe, you can now get to all the gear change cables, the bit of wire in here, the exhaust bracket, everything is very gettable now that we've got that out of the way. So I am just going to continue on and start removing all of the cables, all of the bits and pieces. Remember guys, if you are doing this for the first time, try and put the bolts back in the holes where you took them out, and it does give you half an idea when you're putting them back in. So very productive day so far. Let's continue on. And that's off as well, guys. And there's the culprit there. And if you can see if I push that, it shouldn't move. You can see it's turning around inside. So Chris will he'll put a new bolt in there and weld it down. Very easy to work on this gearbox. You just squeeze these together. The cable's pulled straight out. Disconnected the bit of wiring, 13 now. And while I was down here, I've loosened up all of the bell housing bolts. So they're now all loose. I mean, I won't go through them all, guys, but you can see pretty much little 13s everywhere. I'm just going to come down on the ramp now, move up to the top side. I've taken that earth off there. Just need to get my hands in there and disconnect the slave cylinder, brake cylinder, clutch cylinder there. So, yeah, all coming on very nicely. And hopefully we'll be able to drop the box out of it very soon. Guys, just getting to that point now. We're waiting for the fluid to drain off, and we've just emptied the gearbox oil. And Chris said, Rob, that's brand new. But when we took the sump plug out, Chris, what did you hear?
Pitter patter.
Lumps of metal landing in the bottom of that.
I think you can see in there a few bits. Well,
that's the weight.
Shiny bits, see them?
Oh, I can, yeah.
There's some bigger bits.
There's a lot. There's a lot coming out now. We get the torch on it in a minute. What have I done with it? Is it up top? No, it's here. Because people would find that interesting. A lot of people did say, "Oh, you're going to be taking the gearbox apart to find the issue." That's not. Yeah, look at all those iron filings in there, guys. But it was a couple of quite big lumps, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Keep that still.
There they are. Right around the edge. See them?
Yeah. Yeah, so guys, basically the gearbox is toast. Also, a couple of people said, why didn't you take it and swap it out for a recon gearbox? And the answer to that is a recon gearbox, they sort of want £500–600 for one. And to get a low mileage one, I mean, I'll tell you how much we paid for it in the numbers, but we got a nice low mileage gearbox there. Anyway, all the bell housing bolts undone. I know I've not time-lapsed a great deal. There's not a great deal to see, guys. And that is purely, I mean, I'm down here, we can't have the ramp all the way up to the roof. Chris is going to undo that main gearbox mount for me, and then that should drop down, and we should be able to slide it out and get it on the floor. Right, let's carry on. Moving all right, Chris?
Yeah, it's cracked on.
Right, that's it then. I'll pop this shaft out this side, and we'll put the sump plug back in the gearbox and pull it.
Yeah.
Just trying to find the best angle here, guys, and to be honest with you, there's not really a best angle to get to. It is quite hard. I'm going to hold the gearbox, the bottom of it, just under here. Chris is going to release that bolt that's in it. That will automatically drop down a little tiny bit by itself. And then once it does, Chris is going to come down and actually lower the engine crane a little bit. The engine stand, gearbox stand. He'll lower that down a little bit just to give me enough able to manoeuvre and get round it and pull it out of its place. So let's give it a go. All right, yeah. Is it just that one?
That centre one, is it?
Yeah, there ain't no others, is there? It's that one there you took off,
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
it.
Yeah. So if you come down a little bit. It is actually holding in that mount still. It might want to tap up there, Chris, you know.
Yeah, can do. Did you have the club hammer?
Yes, it's just here, mate, sorry. It's obviously quite tight in that rubber, isn't it?
Yeah, it's got a metal sleeve in it, though, isn't it?
That's more like it.
That's more like it.
I don't think it was quite meant to pop out that far, so, but Rainbow, if I get you to come down a little tiny bit, I think that's your lot, isn't it?
Probably.
Right, now, we can just double check, Chris, that I've got everything off of this. I'm quietly confident I have, but
Yeah, it looks good here.
that little oil fill's got caught.
It is unclear.
Shall I try and go on my own, or do you want to
Well,
go
I'll just, I'll,
one side each?
yeah, a little bit. Is that loom that's caught on there?
No, I think. Tell you what, mate. No,
I think we're good.
No, we're not.
No?
I don't. Well, I think. No, I need to just remove a bracket. Bear with me a sec. Do you chuck the 13 back in here? There is a little tiny bracket right up there, hiding. I think that was holding it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
is. Yeah. Nearly there. I might get you to whip it out, you know.
What's that?
You know that dowelled bolt that you had at the back? There's another one here, look. See it? Just there. What do you think it's going to come?
No star drive in the end.
Yeah, that's it. It's
Oh,
nice. Yeah. What do you think? No?
Give it a go.
There's the ratchet. I'm going to pop it just back on here. That's it, you got it. Not enough there, I guess.
Close.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I've got it here, mate.
I wouldn't be surprised that's been out before.
Yeah. Right, do I go around the other side, grab the gearbox?
You want it?
I'll chuck these on the floor. That's a lot easier.
What, mate?
Yeah.
All the way down?
Yeah, let it go. That's it.
Oh yeah, it's got an LU clutch in it.
There we go, guys. Does it look new? He said 20,000 miles ago, didn't he? I mean, there's not a doubt in my mind what that chap said after finding that
That's
bolt.
right.
That was 100%, wasn't it? So I haven't even actually been round and picked the clutch up yet, guys, and that was purely, I'll just take this one with me just to confirm that it is correct. Chris is having a little play with the gearbox here. I don't know if you'd hear it on that, would you?
Quite,
It was-
isn't
it
it? No,
was-
I was seeing if the thrust's alright.
These bearings,
I bet that's true. I bet that's been changed 20,000 miles ago. It
Yeah.
seems a shame, doesn't it?
it does, yeah. But mate, it is what it is. Let's whip it out and have a look what condition it's in, but we're changing it regardless. Guys, look at that. It seems almost criminal to throw that clutch away. It's not brand new. It's absolutely perfect. Oh well. Never mind. Let's get on. Guys, as you can see, Chris is cracking on over there with that captivated nut that had actually broken off. He's made a new one up for it. He's what are you doing? Sticking a bolt in there, Chris, holding it in position, then gonna weld it in.
That's it.
So that'll resolve that issue. I've now got the clutch, got that sitting here, new slave cylinder. This one was exactly the same. I've just removed the old one. I'm just going to fit the new slave cylinder. Got to remove the engine mount, gearbox mount off of that one. Put it onto this one. Then we get the clutch fitted and start the process of putting it all back together. But certainly nice that Chris doing that. And it'll just aid putting it back together as well. I don't know how they swung it out the way. They must have removed the bumper when they did it. But hey, let's get on with it. Guys, so that's the mount all swapped over and the new slave cylinder fitted. When we was actually bringing this out, I said to Chris, I think I'll get you to pull that sort of bit of a guide pin with a dowel on it. It was actually these. They got a little star drive in the end of them. I don't know if you can see that. And Chris actually removed it because we needed to get it further past the engine to actually get it out. So we are going to actually remove that one. The one the other side's already gone, just to aid us putting it back in. So I've just popped the clutch up there, torqued all the bolts down, and as you can see, I've got the alignment tool in there. And that's basically, you can see on the end there, sits inside the flywheel, and this one here sits inside the clutch, and it just keeps it all in a nice straight line. So when you're putting that gearbox on there in a minute, it slots on there nicely. It's not out of place because that plate behind there is actually floating. It needs to be in line before you tighten those bolts up. So that's all done. Chris is just going to finish what he's doing now, and then we'll lift that gearbox up and try and get it back where it needs to be.
see your face, Rob.
Hello.
I think, blame me if it's no good, but you can see the floor,
Right.
and you can see your face, so there's a good chance. Yeah.
All right, mate.
Was that one finger or two, Rob?
Just the one.
All right.
Leave that in. Yeah.
What bolt have I got there?
Right, that's that pin that you took
The
out.
stud, yeah.
Right, so if you can just get one of these in, and then I'll get one of these in, yeah?
Yeah.
You going around the back again?
Yeah, I can help you lift a little bit, can't I?
I don't think you'll need to.
Might just.
Got back a bit?
I've got a bit, yeah. It's not that heavy, is it?
No. Not again, Chris. Not again. We're going to have to start calling us good. That was bloody brilliant, wasn't it?
That made it nice, didn't it?
I do need to move ever so slightly.
What do you need to do? Up a bit?
No, I think that's it. I've got it there. I'll tell you what, mate. I've got that, right? Yeah, go on.
I'm nearly in though.
You've wound it all the way home by hand. Just leave it like that, mate. What I'll do now is I'll get all the bottom ballads and bolts on. I'll get all the cables back on.
Yeah, it's hanging there, isn't it?
Yeah, and then we'll get it back up there. So that went a lot easier, guys, getting it in there than most do. But I'll be honest, we got quite lucky on the last one, Chris, didn't we?
Yeah.
It all went quite easy. So I'm going to continue down here, just get as much of this underneath here that I can get back on, and then just move up to the top and button everything back up. But looking really, really good. And I think Chris is nearly done with that bolt hole repair as well. So all going to plan. Let's carry on. Guys, that is everything this side now, all buttoned up. Cables are on, wiring's on. Driver side drive shafts all back in, bolted down. We are just going to bolt up like the little bracket, and then we're going to move on to sticking that engine bed in there. But as you can see as well, got a nice new bolt in there, and Chris has put the nut inside there and welded it on. So should be a lovely driving, nice sounding van when we get once we get it back on its wheels. We are going to crack straight on with it and get it all back together. Actually running out of parts, guys, which is always good. Only a handful of bolts left. So we haven't put the under tray on yet. Everything else under here is completely done. See, Chris got stuck in there and give me an hand because the engine bed's quite awkward to do. It was nice now that that bolt actually goes back in there perfectly. We was able to put that section in after. So you've just been outside, look at the old gearbox to find the filler hole. It's there. I see it, mate, yeah.
Filler level hole, isn't it?
So we've got a nice new 2.5 litres of gear oil to put in there. We'll be filling that up, putting the under tray on, and then we can come down and work under the bonnet. I'm so clear, Chris, I was saying earlier to you, wasn't I? I'm so glad. I was actually tempted to remove this whole front end at one point.
It did look a bit congested.
It did.
When you first looked, didn't it?
Do you know what though? I think that was half of it. Once I removed that little bracket and I was able to move that out of the way, it was fine. Right, let's carry on. Moment of truth, guys. I got stuck in there, didn't want to do any more time lapse. I've just put the battery on. Chris has kicked the carpet back in. He's now, you ready? Yep. Just make sure it starts, actually. Might need a... That's it. I'm not going to take this van out for a test drive because those wheels are so bad, aren't they? It's just going to end up... We don't want it to ruin that gearbox if there's a chance. We've got a clutch. That was a bit of a nightmare. That's nice to see. Reverse. Yeah, take her out, mate. Bleeding up that clutch, guys, was quite... They're a bit of a pain. You have to stick the pipe in one click, bleed it up, then push it all the way home. This water that was coming out of it, that's just where they washed it all out inside. How does that clutch feel, mate? Lovely. So it's got a nice 2018 gearbox in it with low mileage and a nice brand new clutch, three-piece clutch kit. So still quite a lot to do on this little van. I mean, it looked lovely after a clean, but as you know, all the tyres are odd. All of the tyres are toast. I noticed it was that one inside, wasn't it, earlier? It does need a couple of rims. This tyre earlier, I noticed when it was up against the wall there. There, see that, Chris? Got a big bulge in it there. So they're all toast. It needs 4 tyres. It needs 2 mirrors. So still quite a lot of work to do to it, but the hard part is now done, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like I said, guys, not even worth taking it out on a test drive with those wheels on it. You're just going to end up, it could potentially cause more problems. So a lot of progress there, guys, on a lot of the projects. You can see the Fiesta in the background waiting for some other little jobs and a bit of paintwork. We've got the Audi there on the Jig. We'll probably do another video on the Subaru really, really soon. I was just waiting to hear back from somebody about something on that car, and that hasn't really materialised. So we will be doing another video on that soon. The little van, we ordered a wheel arch liner and it's been on back order, and then this happened and then that happened. So, but a lot of progress on a lot of the projects, and we are really moving forward with them. Really happy with the little van. I tried my hardest because Chris was sort of... You guys would have seen the previous video where he's been doing the yard and clearing it out and just tidying everything up. And he's sort of popping in and out, and as and when he can, he's been giving me an hand. And of course, lifting the gearbox in. And that bit of film in there, that, where Chris put the camera up the top, I said, oh, I'll cut this bit out, I'll cut that bit. He went, leave it in, Rob. It'll be all right. You didn't stick your fingers up, you was just pretending. So, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do hit that thumbs up. I know a lot of you have reached out to me already asking how much it's going to be and asking if you can buy it. Guys, we will not advertise this van until we're 100% happy with it. I'm sure the next video will be the last when we get it nipped in the bud. So if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, share on all your social networking sites, and we will see you next week in the next one.